Alright, so I feel like there's been another clearing of conditioning, or another deepening or clarification. It feels like another shift, actually. But it feels like the like the amplification of quality of sense experience. So it's like there's a kind of energetic holding somewhere that was somehow dampening, or in a very subtle way averting from the how would you describe it? Like, I've heard it described as the radiant or luminous aspect of experience, and in that there's very much like a powerful, intelligent love in it, and expressing itself in HD, whilst at the same time having no D. I would describe it like intelligence communicating with itself, in the sense, like all the sense, the aspects of sense culminating as one intelligent sense, as a singularity, but also with this singularity seamlessly communicating with all its different parts. So all parts and no parts at the same time. And it's even more intense. It's even more beautiful. Like I said in the last video, there was like a subtle holding in the emptiness aspect of experience. This very much feels like dependent origination. It very much feels like an intimate and full visceral experience of dependent origination and immediacy right now that includes everything, includes the it's like the subtle holding. You know, it's interesting, like I was talking to someone on email about the center point, and I think just the talking about that seemed to clarify this and bring it about. That center point, that there's like a subtle holding or a suggestion of there being a solidity here somewhere in the body, in the energetic sense. But anyway, I just thought I'd share that. So I'm going to respond to some comments. So Miriam says, is it that thoughts, all thoughts, including the me, originate from awareness and return to awareness, not separate? Not anything, not even possible to say that they dissolve, really? Is that what you're pointing to? When you say look at the nature of thought? Thanks as always. So I'm going to be really annoying and frustrating, and I'm not going to answer your question because I'm more interested in you looking into your own experience, and then what I'm talking about will clarify in its own way as it does for you. I'm less inclined to give you like an answer to that question. I know there is there's certain things that are lost in translation when we're using concepts to describe something non-conceptual. But the fact that you're looking, the fact that you're inquisitive and asking these questions is really all you need, and you can trust your own experience. It's not going to appear as a conclusion. There's no answer I can give you that's going to be satisfying in that way, if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for some direction or clarification, then I would say it's not a way other than it is. So I'm not going to be able to give you a model that you can apply to experience, and in a causal way that model is going to clarify this. It's actually much more simple than that. So see if there's anything that's not awareness. See if there's anything in experience that isn't already inherently aware of itself. And see if there are actually any parts to that. So if awareness is something we use to describe what this is, all of it, specifically the thought experience, if awareness is something we use to describe the thought experience, then can awareness be said to be separate from anything that appears within our experience? Is there any evidence that there is an awareness that is here that manifestation comes from and then disappears back into? Like a background or a substance or a source? Is there any actual evidence for that? Can you find that? Would you have to get out of awareness to be able to look at it? Is that possible? So it's the right approach in inquiring, for sure, but the any answer I'm gonna give you that you could grab onto conceptually but might be doing you a disservice. What I'd be more interested in is hearing you describe your own experience about what you're asking, rather than me giving you an answer. as if I have like an advanced knowledge on this, which I don't. So you have all the answers to this, but good question. So okay, Billy James says, Maya is imagining what one is imagining is happening outside of one's imagination. In order for it to be that is the definition of reality, not Maya. There's like there are reams and reams and reams of this comment. So so I point to what's obvious to me here with this comment, and sometimes it's hard to communicate this and get this across without it being framed in a way like, you know, where I'm critiquing the concepts or critiquing something or saying something isn't correct or wrong. It's hard to get that across, but that's not what I'm doing. Like the descriptions in this comment, and there are loads of them. Like I like the descriptions. The descriptions are really good. I'd be inclined to, if I was to adopt a position on it, to agree with what you're describing and how you're describing it. It sounds good. I'm not going to say it's accurate, because nothing's accurate. Nothing I say is accurate. Nothing any of the great non-dual teachers say is accurate. But what stands out to me more about this comment is that it's a lot of statements about like descriptions of what this is, as though we're kind of looking at it as an objective thing, as something that has value, and that value can be communicated through the concepts. That I'd be more interested to have an authentic communication, like an authentic back and forth, where we are knowingly describing our own experience directly. And what I mean by knowingly describing experience is, of course, I say all the time that anything that we can say, anything that we can describe is by default a description of our own experience. So what I'm getting from that comment is a description of a thought experience, and that thought experience seems to be or have the attention and importance absorbed into concepts. You know, I could be way wrong, but that's just what I'm getting from this. I would be more inclined to move the attention and focus and importance away from the conceptual descriptions and into direct experience in a personal way, in a way that's unique to you. Because you know, nothing's wrong in this. There's nothing wrong with conceptual fixation. There's nothing wrong with that, but it can be a distraction in what I'm always talking about here. You can divert attention away from authentic and direct inquiry. So rather than a description about something, in the theme of non-duality, Like I said, the descriptions are very good. I'd rather hear a description of your immediate experience, because if there is clarity there, then that it's hard to transmit that clarity when there's like repetition and rhetoric. There's kind of like an element of authenticity and flexibility with this, and spontaneity with this, that really departs from and detaches from the rigid like categorical definitions and descriptions. And when that's the case, when we fixate on the concepts, there's not really a communication there. There's not really a back and forth there, in a real, authentic and intimate way. It more just remains in the conceptual space, and the conceptual space is very limited. So I've been saying this a lot. Really, I would like to have whoever comments, and it might not be that interesting for people, but I'd like to see comments of people directly describing their own experience in an authentic way, because then we're going in the direction that departs from the limitations of conceptual frameworks and so on. Yeah, then it starts to get authentic, and the importance of a thing called non-duality, or a concept called awakening, fades away and is replaced with the inherent awakeness that's already here. But I could be way off, but that's just what I'm getting. There are signatures of conceptual fixation that are very apparent in like the way people will communicate. There are signatures there that you can spot very easily. I touched on this in the last video, and it starts to become very obvious when you start to recognize that signature, because you recognize it in yourself. And when that's in full action or identification, it's not apparent. But when you kind of step outside of that, so to speak, it starts to become obvious everywhere, as nothing to do with the individual, but just like a common function. And this function is used to fortify the sense of identity and distract from the absolute simplicity of what's here. But like I said, there's nothing wrong with making conceptual models and descriptions of this. And in that conceptual space, certain models, certain descriptions are going to be, by the standards of conceptuality and that subject, they're going to be more accurate ones and less accurate ones. But what I'm talking about is outside that. That there's no more accurate or less accurate. That there's just the direct experience of thought, no matter what it's saying. What it's saying doesn't matter. It's just thought. Just the seen. Just the heard. Just the sensed. Too free to be anything. Too free to have to be anything. So it's everything, and simultaneously nothing at all. so nothing we can say in the conceptual sense is going to capture it. So why not throw the rule book out the window and just talk honestly about our own experience. Anyway, I'm going to have to go, but talk to you next time.